Good morning. This is Holly with Hollysjoys, and today I am going to be reading chapter 2 in my book that I'm working on. It's called The Next 12 Steps. I've already done a video on the introduction, section or chapter, and I've done chapter 1. Those are two separate videos, and if you want to keep everything chronological as it's written, you'd watch the intro video, then chapter 1, and then today is chapter 2. So here we go. Accept. Today I have come to accept that my loved one has the disease of addiction and that it has negatively impacted my life. I accept that it is okay to do things differently. Chapter 2. Accept. Falling back into old behaviors and responses is common and is a part of keeping the cycle of chaos going. But now that you're beginning to know yourself better and giving yourself a loving break, there's space for the possibility of change. Let's talk about when old unwanted behaviors pop up. Relapsing into old behaviors. What do you do if you slip up and take up old habits or coping skills that are not helping? First, be patient with yourself. It happens, but as you build your confidence with useful skills, you'll find the old ineffective habits will fade away, or at least you'll get back on track more quickly. Keep in mind these moments of slipping back, raising your awareness of an area that needs your attention. When you relax around this trigger, your confidence finds footing more easily. If you feel a response into behaviors that do not work for you, review the relapsing section below. Relapse. You may be thinking, I'm not the one with the disease of addiction. Guess what? Scientists have discovered that you can be addicted to negative emotions. What? Crazy, I know. But if you think about it, really consider when you get in that repetitive cycle, and even though you don't want to, you do it anyway. Does that sound familiar? So let's define addiction so we can begin to accept and understand and see that this is some of what could be happening in our own lives. Definition of addiction. Chaotic relapsing issue that has irresistible compulsive behavior elements despite differing desires. Can you see that? At least some of your behavior holds an element of addiction. Our emotions are, after all, chemical responses manufactured by our bodies. I think we are ready now to dive into the possibility of our own relapsing into unwanted behaviors. Here's a working definition of relapse for those of us who love someone in the disease of addiction cycle. Are returning to unwanted behaviors and knee-jerk responses to the chaotic events that come from having a loved one in the cycle of addiction. Forgetting to use those coping skills that keep you in peace and joy for your highest good. This is not just outward behaviors, but inward thoughts that bring those those old familiar negative feelings, that rush of chemicals. Don't beat yourself up if this happens. That is ineffective and counterproductive. Remember to be loving and kind and understanding to yourself. Having relapses to old behaviors or setbacks is a normal part of life. Awareness. Once you become aware you have slipped back into some unwanted responses, then you can take back your decision-making power. To facilitate this process and shorten the time to awareness, learn your own patterns of behavior. Reflect on things you have previously determined are triggers. When you feel that intense energy build up towards falling headlong into an old negative behavior, just stop. Breathe. Reflect. Take a beat and practice just feeling those feelings. Hard, overwhelming, and craving to burst free, running you rampant without your consent nor your control. Once you feel them without judgment and without negative emotion attached, like being mad at yourself for relapsing, when you can have clarity. With clarity, you then have choice. You will introduce choosing shortly, but for now, just sit with this thought. You do have choice. This is not the end of your progress. In fact, setbacks are a treasured part of your growth. The more you relax and accept this pain as a motivator, and sooner you will be back on track. At least this has been my experience. Once again, this is not to make sense to you, but experiment with it in your own life. When you have practical data, then you can decide. Sometimes we miss the opportunity to stop and breathe. We find we have fallen down the rabbit hole created by the disease of addiction. All is not lost. Stay calm. Use your coping skills that are supportive of your highest good. Let's reflect on some of what those skills may include. You can go to therapy, have a support group, you have family, you can do meditation, start new hobbies that are fun, or something I haven't even thought of. Once you're back on track and you have decompressed, remember to love yourself through the process without judgment. Remember, I am not a mental health professional nor in the medical field in any way. I am someone who has accepted a person who has the disease of addiction, and I have many experiences that have given me peace and happiness right in the middle of those chaotic moments. Month 2, accept. This month is broken down into 4 weeks to allow time for you to accept that you can do things differently than you have in the past. Week 1. Definitions can determine by my self-awareness and observation of myself. Take this first week to observe what your beliefs are concerning accepting. Accepting that you can have different responses and make different decisions than you have before. Open the door to life for your own highest good, as you determine that to be. Week 2. Is my belief system really benefiting me? What beliefs have you held that have led you to do what you do, whether you want to or not? Remember that getting to know yourself is a huge benefit. Do this lovingly and with joy. I found out so many things during this process, and I had just to laugh at some things I really thought. Laughing at these things that looked so silly to me when I said them out loud was cleansing. But do what feels right to you and for you. Week 3. What beliefs do I prefer? Now really start to make conscious choice in what you want to believe to be true. If you hold a belief that no longer want to have, then begin to let it go. Maybe even fill it in with a belief you like better. Sounds like an experiment would be in order here. Play with this until you have found what works best for you. Week 4, review and reflect. Number 1, you can do things differently. Number 2, you have new skills to uplift your life. Number 3, making new habits takes time and awareness. 4, be patient and loving with yourself and with others. Now that we've opened our mind to the possibility of doing things differently, it's a good time to recognize the power we do have to do just that. Well, that was chapter 2. So hopefully you're finding some of these little tips and tricks that I have discovered. They might be useful to you. So that's it for this chapter. Be looking for chapter 3 the next time. And I will talk to you later. Have an amazing day. Find peace, love, and joy. And don't forget to share, like, follow, do all the things. Thank you so much. Bye.